welcome. As I said on yesterday's video where I was going over policies, today I'm gonna go over the way of Hsi-HO, whatever it's pronounced. Okay, I'm not Chinese, so I'm not sure. Hsi-HO. Anyways, I'm gonna explain a bit how this works, and then I'm gonna go over the different builds that I think are viable and when you should go with one or the other. But before that, let me just do one thing. Okay, because I know not everyone who watches this speaks English, I try to do it a bit, at least for my alliance, with different colors, so a bit of a visual representation. So yeah, let's get to it. So first of all, top here we have energy. Okay, so this is consumed to use the skills. As you can see here, this costs 30, this one costs 10, and this one costs 5. Okay, 1 point of energy every 30 minutes. Remember, the regeneration or total cap depends on this policy here, okay, which you should always go with energy recovery speed. Now, apart from that, as you can see here, we see phase. Okay, so there's different phases, and this is the neon. Okay, so this is what in policies here we want to max this policy first to 10 before gaining all the neon, so we maximize the output of it, because this neon increases the phases, and phases are super important because if we check, for example, skills, phase 12, okay, phase 9, for example, let me see here, phase 11, okay, so different skills to get all the perks you need this phase to well, pretty much 12, which I assume is the maximum level. Okay, so that's why it's so important for this season to maximize your neon income. Now, we have, as you can see here, we have 6 different skills. They are separated into subgroups, and we can only pick one of each subgroup. Razor Remedy, Fighting Phantasm, Dimensional Duel, Temporal Traps, Seasonal Shift, Timeless Treasury. Okay, now I'm gonna say something. There's one skill that there's no doubt about this one. Okay, this is always taken. Okay, this is always good, and this one it's never taken. Okay, this there's no doubt. Now the debate is mainly between those two. So what first I'm gonna do is talk about this one, so we get rid of it. It's pretty easy what you should go for. Okay, so for this skill, my recommendation, okay, it's first perk, this one, doubles the amount of elixir for sale in the Timeless Treasury. So how this skill works, bear in mind it has a massive cooldown. Sanju opens a secret store known as the Timeless Treasury. The Timeless Treasury opens for 24 hours at a time, allowing players to purchase the items using merits. Okay, you can get, like, I'm pretty sure, like, Renegade told me you can get upwards of 5 mil elixir per week with this skill, which is actually insane. Okay, so first pick, no doubt, you go with this. Now if you're end of season, you might go with some more CP items, so you can accumulate them for next KVK, but at the start of the KVK you really want to go with this one. You really want to start accumulating that elixir for your PvP fights. Now, well, let me do this, I guess. So first one, it's gonna be this one. Okay, 100% of the times we're picking this. Where's my mouse? Here. Now, makes neon available for sale in the Timeless Treasury. This for me is not the best choice here. Okay, this honestly feels a bit useless. Makes mana available for sale in the Timeless Treasury. Now this is kinda okay if you're, for example, like, I don't know, trying to stack up for a future season. Maybe you could consider this, but to be honest, the best one by far is this one. Okay, it gives you warrants for sale for merits, warrants, more pets, more skills, better pets, more damage, better reports. Okay, so for me, another one that it's easy is this one. Okay, so you want to go with this one like 90% of the times. Okay, and maybe this one like 10% of the times, depending. Like, I don't know, like, for me it will always be this better, unless, I don't know, you're really struggling with mana. You can maybe pick this, grind it a bit, and then you use the reset of your season. So this thing here, you reset your shop, and then you select the warrants. Okay, but warrants are just too good. Now we have 2 last options. First one, reduce prices of items in Timeless Treasury by 20%, or allows you to refresh items in the Timeless Treasury. From what I've been told, okay, this one is the best one. Okay, 100% of the times you pick this. Okay, it allows you to get more elixir, more warrants, more items that appear on the shop. Okay, like, come on, like, just being able to refresh the shop means more like more items to buy. Now the only issue is you gotta bear in mind that this shop is using merits, and like I don't think personally I can keep up, at least in this season, generating enough merits to one, empty the timeless treasury. But then you gotta remember, you will have here more, no, where is it? Come on, here. You'll have here the merit shop itself, okay? So now you need to generate a lot of merits to empty both shops, okay? But still, like, this is not worth it. All this does, okay, is generate more resources in your city, pretty much, okay? Like, yes, like, one warren here is nothing compared to the amount of warrens you get in timeless treasury, okay? So this for me, like, I don't know, maybe if you're on a farming season, like, no, see, even if you're on a farming season, you're better off just merit trading, getting, for example, CP items here, mana here or warrants, like wherever you want, and then the refreshes. Like, this for me is a bit of an imbalance, and maybe something that devs need to check out. But this, like, these two skills, this one is just too strong compared to this one, and I do not believe this one needs to be nerfed. All I think it needs to happen is for this one to be buffed, to be made slightly better. Okay. Second skills we're gonna talk about is these two. The main reason is because these ones, for the specific situation in which I am, which is Season 3, I think there are some more debate to be had here. So let's talk about these two first. So we have Dimensional Duel. As you can see here, pretty much what it does is you cast it, now you enter a duel with one enemy march. No one else can interfere on it, okay? You cannot receive damage from other sources, nothing like that. This one, what it does is with one march that you have selected, so in my case I have my Bakshi here, you can freeze up to 5 enemy legions, gaining freeze, okay, including your legion. My recommendation, to be honest, is go with Temporal Trap. So some people, for example, say use Dimensional Duel if you have a stronger Skogul with T5s, or if you have like a strong cap. The issue you have with that is, let's say we're in Season 3, okay? Well, we actually are, okay? How many T5s are there here? Like, we have, what? 12 T5 players? Like, if every single one of those T5s grabs the Rigorous Skogul and just makes a duel with some shitty March, like, we lose the strongest frontline that we have available for our kingdom, okay? So I personally prefer those people to not pick this, okay? Yes, I get it, probably they pick Dimensional Duel, they're gonna be swimming in merits from that trade, but I do believe it's better off that they pick Temporal Trap, and they see some enemy marches with them. Like, you don't use this on your best march, okay? You use this on one of your weaker marches, because, like, remember, this legion will be frozen too. So what I'm planning to do, for example, is grab some shitty cap march that I'm gonna use as a third slot. If I want to charge into the enemy murder ball, I'm gonna send that one first. I'm gonna freeze half the enemy murder ball, and then my good cavalry will go in, deal a lot of damage, and, well, pretty much die, and I got refresh, okay? So honestly, I mean, like, this skill is not bad. I just see it more of a selfish self-play rather than a team play skill, which will be this, where you're freezing enemy marchers, I don't know, I think this is more valuable overall. So for me personally, I'd go with Temporal Trap. Like, I don't know, let's say you're playing infantry. Like, is it cool that you can do a duel and destroy a march? Yes, but then again, you're the front line of your team. Okay, if you suddenly disappear from the front line and every single infantry player starts doing this, now your front line crumbles, and while you might be doing super good in the duel, all your team is getting destroyed, okay? Same with cavalry. Let's say I'm, like, honestly, maybe, like, I'd use this maybe only for example, if there's, like, I don't know, if you're going full farm hitting with one march, you could do this so no one escapes you. Like, I just don't see really the value of having this one versus one, okay? Like, I just rather go with the more crowd control setup with the Temporal Trap. And again, I get it, trust me, I get it, that if you use this, you're getting a lot of merits, but I think it's a bit too much of a selfish play, that yes, you're getting benefit, but while you're on this duel, you're not helping your team with your march. And you're not gonna use this with some shitty march, because then you might even lose the duel. So people that use this tend to use this on one of their stronger marches, which I feel you want to have it to help your team. So with that out of the way, let's go with the first build for Temporal Trap, okay? So there's two different types of builds. So as you can see here, whenever you freeze your march or some friendlies, you get a heal, okay? Here, Enemy legions lose 50% march speed for 10 seconds after time freeze ends, or frost armor. Fallen legions take 20% less damage for 10 seconds after time freeze ends. Okay. I personally say either frost armor or frostbound. Okay. Which one is better? It's a bit debatable, and it will depend on the situation. Okay, let's say your team is pushing hard, you go in with Frostbound, you freeze the enemy team, okay, you start mopping all the other parts, and now suddenly those frozen marches like start moving again, but now they have half their march speed, so they are free targets for all your DPS marches. So I think this one is good. I wouldn't go with cryotherapy mainly because if you're gonna try to buff your own marches that are getting frozen, I think frost armor is better. Okay, so this one, maybe if you're cowardly, for example, you charge in, you reduce all the enemy march speed once it's done, so you make sure no one escapes and your archers, mages can chase that march down. Frost armor if you want to keep more survivability in your march, but honestly both works good. Now we have Boundless, increase maximum number of legion affected by time freeze by 5, reduce the skill cooldown by 20 minutes, or Permafrost, increase duration of time freeze to 15 seconds. Oops. Now, I personally will not take the increased duration in freezing. Well, would I? It's a bit tricky. Like, this is for me is good for what I'm gonna use this skill, which is I'm gonna go with my cavalry. I'm gonna charge the main enemy murder ball, so I wanna make sure I try to remove as many marches from that, so my caps will not get swarmed as hard as if they were. Honestly, from these three you can choose whatever you want. I don't think flash freeze is that good, so my priority for myself is 1, 2, 3. Okay, this is the order I picked those. Why Boundless? Because I can CC more marches from the enemy, so that's always good. Why Permafrost? Having those marches and yourself more time frozen means your team has more time, for example, to go push the enemy outside. So now all those frozen marches are in the middle of your murder ball, so whenever this despawns, they can be one shot. Okay, and again, like reducing the skill cooldown in 20 minutes, it's nice, but I don't think it's crazy good. Okay, like yes, you will be able to spam this skill more, but then again, like you either choose to spam it more times or you choose that it's more impactful whenever you spam it. Okay, now last one. Time freeze only affects enemy legions, or time freeze only affects your legions and other friendly legions. Okay, so I personally, if you go with a more of an aggro playstyle like my cavalry will do, I'm going with this. Okay, so my marches and none of my friendlies will get frozen, so they can steal DPS, only the enemy gets frozen. If you want to build a buffer type of build, you can go, so I'm gonna do the pathing, okay, so it's less confusing. Okay, so for example, buffer pathing, you can do frost armor. Okay, you can do frost armor. Here it depends on how many marches you're using with your team, but you either go boundless, okay, or you either go flash freeze and then you take timely 8, okay, or you can even remove this, to be honest. Like, this is not really, I mean, I guess if you want to apply the 20% less damage taken, you can go with this, but yeah, you don't want to take this because like what you're trying to do here is send your marches with your teammates, freeze them all, so they take 10% less damage once the freeze is done, so you don't really want to increase the duration. Okay, you either go with increasing the amount of friendlies, if there's a lot of people that want to benefit from the 20% less damage taken, or you go with the skill damage reduction, so you can do this more often. Okay, and then you make sure only your friendly legions are benefiting from this, and like there's no waste in targeting enemy legions. Now, if you're going my route, which is more of the aggressive temporal trap type of gameplay, I'm gonna go with Frostbound. Okay, after Frostbound, I'm going with Boundless for sure, and then I'm going with Impediment, so I make sure I only freeze the enemy marches, I freeze no friendlies, so we can kill everything that it's not frozen, and once the frozen trap is over, we kill those ones. Okay, so this will be the pathing. Okay, so the green will be the buffer build. Okay, this is your buffer build for teammates. Okay, and the reds will be your cap build. okay? So cavalry, buffer for your infantry, for example. Let's say you're gonna push into the enemy murder ball, okay? You hit something, you freeze your marches, maybe benefit from 20% less damage. All your 10 infantry legions from you and your teammates are benefiting from this, and that's it. So yeah, I mean, it's nothing crazy, but whoops. But I think it's a bit of an extra play. Now, Dimensional Duel, okay? Legion deals 20% more damage in all dimensions to it launches. Now this is massive, okay? After the Legion launches and wins a dimensional duel, it heals slightly wounded units. I don't really care about this as much. After the Legion launches and wins a dimensional duels, it gains 100% march speed. So for me, what I'm gonna do, this is the selfish route, okay? You wanna make like a full merit farming simulator with this. So you're going full selfishness, increasing your output. Because the skill casting rate by 25%, it's not critical. The cooldown here is quite nicer than in the Frozen one. After the Legion launches and wins a dimensional duel, it gains more merits from the battle, 50%. Now, we know we're going with the selfish route, so we are going for the extra 50% merits, okay? So you're already dealing 20% more damage to whatever march you're hitting, and now, like, you're getting 50% more merits from destroying a march that you're probably already gonna win because you're gonna select correctly which march you wanna hit, and you're dealing to it 20% more damage. Now finally, after the Legion launches and wins dimensional duels, it deals 15% more damage for 60 seconds, or after the Legion launches and wins a dimensional duel, it can cast dimensional duel again within the next 5 meters. Casting dimensional duel again does not cost you. So again, we're going with, oops, I need to remove this. We're going with this, okay? This is the only real route I see for dimensional duel, which is full selfishness, full merit farming, okay? You increase a lot, like 20% is massive, okay? 20% more damage you deal, you increase by 50% the merit you're gaining from that specific battle, and then you take this, so whenever you win against one, you can do another duel instantly to benefit again from that 20% and this 50% merit. So with this you can be printing merit, but now again, like, the issue with this is you're not really helping your team, okay? Like, yes, you're printing merits, but maybe your team at the same time, like, imagine our T5s take this and the enemy T5s don't take this. Now they have one of their strongest marches just wrecking another march, while all the 5 enemy T5 marches can be destroying 40 marches of ours, okay? So I do not recommend to take this at all, to be honest. I'd rather go with the team player route, which is the Temporal Trap. Now we're moving to the last one. Bro, like, my brain is just melting. Rise of Remedy versus Fighting Phantasm, okay? Now, if you are already on Season of Strife, Rise of Remedy is a no-brainer, okay? It's just too strong, helps you too much. But for Season 3, Fighting Phantasm, okay, I think it has some value. So, if you have farm accounts and you want to use them for PvP, always take this, okay? Because, yes, this is based out of your tech, but you can use a free march that you don't care what happens with it, with your farm account, okay? So you can pretty much inflict losses on the enemy without really losing anything on your side, to be honest. And then again, if you have like 3 T4, or well, it doesn't matter, if you have 3 farm accounts, you can be spamming 3 marches of this to, I don't know, hold the choke point, for example. You use this with your farms, you just throw them first at the bridge, so the enemy marches start losing HP, and then you go with your actual marches once the enemy is already weakened. You have some team, like, there's some playability with this and farm accounts. Well, I gotta say, if you have bad commanders, or maybe you only can bring like 1 real strong or 2 strong marches to the field, maybe consider using this. Like, if you don't have awakened heroes or really close to being awakened, good legendary artifacts, Rise of Remedy will not be that good for you. Because this is as strong as your marches are. This is why you see everyone on Season of Strife taking this, okay? Because they have super strong marches full of T5, awakened heroes, so this fits on a really strong march. But if you're using, I don't know, like a 5-1-1-1 Lilia with a Waldir Awaken, like, sure, it's gonna help you a bit, but it's not gonna be that 300k merits report, okay? Because your march is not that good. you don't have the tech, okay? So maybe at that point you're better off helping your team with bringing one extra march, even if it's something random, through fighting Phantasm, okay? Like, just bear in mind, you might be even lower numbers than the enemy, but if every single one of your players brings one of these, now you add one more march on every single person. Yeah, sure, the enemy that's using Razor Remedy will have a stronger march. But again, like, you need to learn to balance this. I'd say strong players, okay, go with Razor Remedy. If you know maybe you cannot bring that many marches on the field, or maybe you messed up your investments in heroes or artifacts, this is not like a bad plan, especially for Season 3. So now first I'm gonna go over the pathing for fighting Phantasm. So, guaranteed to summon a melee legion, either infantry or caps, guaranteed to summon a ranged legion, increase summon legion max unit count by 50%. This is a bit tricky. I'd say, like, for example, if you could guarantee that it's infantry, I think this would be good. Because even if it's garbage, you can send an infantry march just to be the front line, and because the nature of infantry, you know it will tank, even if it's not like an optimal march, okay? Range units, probably what's gonna be more stable for you and give you more merits. And 50 extra troops, like 50k extra troops, is nice, but I'd rather choose for yourself. So what do you want to do with your march? Is your team needing a lot of melee, do you need a strong frontline for your team? Go with Spear Point. Even if it's cavalry, use it as infantry. You don't really care. Like, this march doesn't give you sub wounds, okay? So if you need to hold the frontline, just wherever this wherever this skill gives you, just throw it into the frontline non-stop. If you have a strong frontline, but maybe you lack a bit more DPS, or you go with Farsight, okay? So both options are viable. I wouldn't avoid going with the third one, okay? I don't think this one is that crucial. I mean, it's just whatever, okay? Like, you can go with this, but I prefer to know, not exactly, but at least to know that I can choose between going with melee units or with range units. Now, next, guaranteed to summon a legendary war pet, guaranteed to summon a legendary hero, guaranteed to summon a legendary artifact. Now, this is super tricky, and this is RNG itself, okay? So, like, the issue here is I don't think the war pet is the best plan, because if it's not a 3 full star pet, it's not really worth it, okay? So this for me will be priority number 3, okay? So now we're debating between heroes or artifacts. Like, doesn't matter if you have a strong pet, if you have a garbage artifact and garbage heroes, okay? So now, heroes are kind of the backbone of the march. It's what gives them stats, it's what gives them the skills, it's what provides probably the most amount of damage. But there are some artifacts that give a lot of value to the battlefield, okay? Let's say, for example, you pick this, okay? You summon a melee legion, it's infantry, okay? Then again, what do you prefer, for example, to have Spiritbone Torn, but maybe you're using, I don't know, like Mushiang Bakar, or no Spiritbone Torn, some shitty epic artifact, but having Gorshkol. So for that reason, for me, the order will be Superior Commander goes first, okay? And then you have the Superior Device. That, for me, will be the peak order, okay? So in most cases, I try to guarantee that I'm getting good commanders. Now, last points. When a summon legion deals damage, your other surrounding legions gain 50% attack, 15% defense, and 15% march it for 5 seconds. Or when a summon legion casts a rage skill, it has a 100% chance to gain 30% attack, 30% defense, and 30% march speed. For me, this is a no-brainer. I'd go always with military might, okay? Yeah, like, sure, this is 2x the amount of stats you're getting, but this march can be so bad that it still performs poorly. While this one, you can be using Fighting Phantasm on, like, let's say 4 people spam this, okay? It's range units, like with this one, and they just mix this inside your mazes, and now you're having, like, a massive buffer marches that are giving 50% attack, 50% extra defense, okay? Helping the surrounded legions trade better, okay? I think this is really, like, a good buffer build, okay? So, my recommended build, to be honest, will be go with this. So you make sure you get archers or mages, go with the commanders, okay, because I think this is the top priority on a march, and then you go with the buffer, okay? So Right now you have a good strong buffer march with range, which, I mean, there's still a range on the pet and the artifact, but at least you know you for sure are getting value due to the buffing. Now let's move into the last one, which is Rise of Remedy. So this skill is kinda broken. Okay, what this march does is during the 30 minutes duration that it has, your legion's lightly wounded units are healed after each battle, gaining healing equivalent to 50% of the number of units they defeated in that battle, okay? So for example, let's say you're doing a fight, okay, and you're trading, for example, 10k, okay, versus another 10k, okay? Okay, now you got 10k sub-woundeds and the enemy got 10k sub-woundeds and you have this activated, okay? So you will be refunded from the lightly wounded, this is lightly wounded, not sub-woundeds, okay? You will be refunded 5k lightly wounded units, which this in turn allows you to keep your march more time alive, and if you apply this to every single person in your alliance, now you have marches that are able to stay way longer in the fight, and you know you're using this for your strong marches, okay? So this is really strong. First pick, it's this one, okay? There's really no doubt about this. 50% attack, 15% attack is massive, okay? 5% more merits, like, probably with this attack you're getting already so much more damage output on the enemy that it's already higher than these 5% extra merits. 5% fewer skills wounded units, this for me is where there's a bit of debate, to be honest, because yes, you will not deal as much damage, but maybe, for example, if you're a full infantry player, okay, like 15% attack is gonna be nice on you, but you know you're getting swarm, okay? So maybe reducing your severely wounded units while this is open with your infantry, it's more beneficial to you than the 15% attack. I'm gonna say maybe for infantry it's a possibility, okay? But for sure the left one is strong always, okay? Next one. Increase the skill duration by 10 minutes, healing effect increased to 60% of defeated units, or reduce the skill energy cost by 5%. There's obviously one that we'll never pick, we don't care that much about energy cost, okay? So now it's between those two. So it was pointed out by Renegade that the main issue with, so pretty much this, even though you see it's 60%, it's only a 10% increase, it's not that huge. Plus this has a negative side effect, so yes, you're healing more in your march, but at the same time, this is helping you reach faster this cap, and once this cap is reached, the skill becomes useless, okay? Then bear in mind, there's a lot of times that you might trigger the skill, maybe you have some skirmish, the enemy retreats, and now you have this skill activated, but no fights going on, okay? So for that reason, I'd say go with this. 10 extra minutes, more usage of the skill is always nice. And now the last ones. Momentum. Your legion no longer receive healing from Rise of Remedy, instead they deal 1% more damage with every 100k enemy units they defeat, up to a maximum of 20%. Or healing from Rise of Remedy is granted during battle rather than at the end. Your legions are healed once every 5 seconds during battle. The healing is too strong, so I'm going with this. Energy, okay? So, one, this is gonna make you trade better. It's like having a Garwood permanently on your march is healing. Like a third hero, pretty much. The issue with this one is it's cool that you deal more damage, but the only persons maybe that, like, first of all, 20% extra damage, like, is big, but I think you're losing too much on the healing, to be honest. And then again, like, the only persons I think should pick this is T5 players who know they will survive just because they have massive tech and T5 units, okay? But for sure, for most of the people, energy absorption will always work nice. It's gonna give you a huge heal boost. So yeah. And plus, like, remember, you might start losing a battle, but because you have this activated, healing you during that battle, it might make you actually win the battle and trade better, okay? So yeah, for me the pathing is this one. This one maybe for infantry, or like inf works both ways. Maybe if you want to try to go with this, you can go. This one for me is clearly the extra time. And last one, if you're like in Season of Strife, you go with energy absorption. Maybe if you're like a T5 like now in my season, you can go with momentum, increase your damage output, but I still believe that the healing is just too strong. So yeah, this is pretty much it. I hope this was helpful, and see you in the next one.